He didn't lose the war, he only delayed the fall of an empire. Architects of Collapse, The Final Engineers of Empires, Episode 17.10. Franz Rohrberg, The Architect of Delay. If you followed the path of imperial collapse this far, pause with us in this episode. Here we meet a man who did not design victory nor defeat, but the space between them. He fought with time, and sometimes that alone is enough to let an empire die a little later. Introduction. War before it begins. Wars do not begin with gunfire. They begin when systems stop understanding one another. At the dawn of the 20th century, the Austro-Hungarian Empire still looked vast on the map, from the Alps to the Balkans, from Bohemia to Galicia. But inside, it suffered from a silent disease. Commanders speaking different languages, a multi-ethnic army with fragile loyalties, a political system slow to decide, and a general staff that reacted only after crises erupted. Within this structure, Franz Rohrberg rose, not on the battlefield, but behind desks of maps and reports. He believed one thing deeply: empires die from loss of coordination long before they are defeated. Scene 1. The Years of Warning. Vienna, 1908 to 1913. At the General Staff, Rohrberg had access to files that revealed the empire as it truly was. The Bosnian Crisis of 1908 was a wake-up call. The empire managed to annex territory, but immediately struggled to manage the political, military, and ethnic consequences. In an internal memo, Rohrberg wrote, "We acquire territory faster than we are able to understand it." He warned that if each crisis were handled in isolation, a chain reaction of crises would eventually break the empire. Scene 2. 1914. A war that arrived too early. Summer 1914. After the Sarajevo assassination, war began, but not on the empire's terms. Austria-Hungary entered a conflict it was not fully prepared for: an open-ended Balkan front, an Eastern Front lacking full coordination with Germany, and a command system forced to balance political, military necessity, and ethnic tensions. Orders arrived late. Units moved without awareness of other fronts. In a 1914 report, Rohrberg wrote, "Our problem is not lack of courage, it is a lack of synchronization." Scene 3. War as a living system, 1915-1916. By mid-war, many commanders still searched for a decisive blow. Rohrberg viewed war differently, as a living body.
If one organ survives while the others fail, the body still dies. He advocated for controlled withdrawals that bought time, defensive actions designed to protect other fronts, decisions that were unpopular but structurally necessary. He repeatedly emphasized, preserving cohesion matters more than holding ground. Scene 4. 1917, when time moves ahead. 1917, a year of total crisis. In the East, Russia was beginning to collapse. Inside the empire, nationalities no longer shared a common future. Within the army, psychological exhaustion became more dangerous than military defeat. Rohrberg warned, if every commander fought only to protect his own reputation or sector, the empire would fracture from within. He wrote, "A coordinated defeat can be managed. An uncoordinated victory is fatal."
Scene 5. 1918. Managing the Fall. 1918. By this year, illusions were gone. The economy had collapsed. Politics had disintegrated. Nationalities were choosing their own paths. Rohrberg no longer spoke of salvation. His role shifted to preventing cascading collapse, reducing meaningless violence, managing withdrawals before they turned into a catastrophe. He understood, when politics dies, the army can only control the shape of death. Closing. The Man Who Bought Time. Franz Rohrberg did not save the empire. But if a front did not collapse overnight, a retreat did not turn into a massacre, or a defeat did not become total annihilation, chances are he had already thought it through. He was neither conqueror nor hero. He bought time. And history rarely speaks loudly of those who merely prevent catastrophe. Prelude to the next episode, the exhausted East. As the Austro-Hungarian Empire died, another empire in Eastern Europe was not struck down, but worn out. The collapse of Russia. If you want to understand how an empire loses faith before it loses battles, next episode, the collapse of Russia. When the army still stood, but no longer knew what it was fighting for. To be continued. Bell final invitation. Stay with the collapse. If this journey through collapsing empires changed how you see history, make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell. These stories are not about dates and battles. They're about systems failing quietly until one day they don't. By subscribing, you won't miss the moments where history turns, not with explosions, but with exhaustion. And what comes next? In the next episode, we move east to an empire that still had millions of soldiers, still held the front, still wore uniforms and carried rifles, yet something far more dangerous had already collapsed. Not the army, not the state, but belief. The collapse of Russia. An empire that didn't fall from defeat, but from forgetting why it was fighting. Stay close. The silence before this collapse is louder than any battlefield.